Well, I think it's safe to say that Battlefront 3 is one of the most cursed titles in all of gaming. I really thought that DICE was going to be the one to rewrite history and finally give us a Battlefront 3 game, but unfortunately that is not the case because DICE is no longer developing Battlefront 3 or Star Wars games in general. Luckily, we got the news that the Lord and Savior for EA, Respawn Entertainment, is not only developing one new Star Wars title, but it's actually developing 3 new titles for the Star Wars franchise, one of them being the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, but also a new Star Wars FPS game. Now, for some Activision news, the publisher announced that they will be releasing the next 3 Call of Duty games on the PlayStation platform. The first one being Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or COD of 2022, Call of Duty of 2023 or the Treyarch COD, and lastly, rather than fix all of the glaring issues with Call of Duty Warzone, they're just going to release Warzone 2 because Activision and things. Blizzard Entertainment is riding the hype from the Microsoft acquisition, announcing their brand new game, which is a survival game based in an all-new universe. One of the most anticipated games for the last 2 years has been Elden Ring, and we got the news that it has officially gone gold, which is pretty good news. I'm hoping to see From Software knock this one out of the park because I'm really excited to give it a try. I'm not the biggest fan of Soulsborne type games, but I'm definitely looking forward to give this one a try, primarily to see if this game lives up to the hype. It's looking like Game Freak has finally gotten themselves a dub with the release of Pokemon Legends Arceus. The current industry reviews that I've seen bodes well for a Legends Arceus. Hopefully it does live up to the hype. One of the biggest criticisms that I've seen regarding Legends Arceus is the low poly textures and just the overall performance of the game does not look as good as it should, which further outlines the need for a new 4K Nintendo Switch. Speaking of the Nintendo Switch, we got some news regarding that console. It's officially outsold the PS1, which a lot of people did not think would happen, especially whenever you consider the disaster that was the Wii U. But with this being a hybrid console, it makes sense that Nintendo Switch did well. I mean, guys, come on, it's handheld. Nintendo had great success with the 3DS and the DS line. They know handheld, that's in their wheelhouse. At this point, I can even see it beating out the PS2 in terms of units sold. Now, to dive a little bit deeper into the news regarding EA and Lucasfilms, they're continuing to join forces even after the disaster that was Battlefront 1 and 2. And as I stated before at the start of this video, the news excludes DICE as a studio working on the Star Wars franchise, which is really good news considering how poorly the last 2 Battlefront games actually did for EA. Now, to dive a little bit deeper into the press release, according to them, they said upcoming titles include the next game in the Star Wars Jedi franchise, which will likely be the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. There will be a new Star Wars first-person shooter game from Peter Hirschman. And if you guys did not know, Peter Hirschman was a previous VP of product development at Lucasfilms Games, and he is a current game director for Respawn Entertainment. I, for one, would be genuinely curious to see if Peter is able to actually right the wrongs from the previous Battlefront games that were indeed flops that turned most gamers away from anything having to do with Star Wars and EA. According to the press release, there's going to be a new Star Wars strategy game published in collaboration between Respawn and BitReactor. BitReactor being the studio formed from previous XCOM lead developers. So what I'm imagining right now is a turn-based XCOM type game in the Star Wars universe. It's not really my style of game, but to each its own. In a statement from the VP of Lucasfilm Games, Douglas Riley, they said, "We are excited to continue working with the superbly talented developers at Respawn. They have demonstrated excellence in telling epic Star Wars stories alongside the best-in-class gameplay across different genres, and we are looking forward to bringing more amazing experiences to the galaxy far, far away." Now, according to Sean Shoptaw, the SVP of Walt Disney Games, they said that building on the previous successes of our EA relationship, this new collaboration highlights the trust and mutual respect shared between the world-class teams at EA, Respawn, and Lucasfilm Games. Fostered by the expertise and passion within each team, we will create thrilling original games for diverse audiences across the Star Wars galaxy. Now, according to Peter Hirschman, he said that working with Lucasfilm Games on a new FPS in the Star Wars galaxy is a dream come true, as this is a story I've always wanted to tell. Funny enough, Peter Hirschman was actually the executive producer on the original Star Wars Battlefront games. Maybe this will mean we will finally get the Star Wars Battlefront game we've been asking for years. My guess is that it's going to be something brand new that we've never seen before. I just hope that it's not going to be a battle royale game like other games in the Respawn Entertainment lineup. And yes, I'm talking about you, Apex Legends. As much as I like the game, I'm still upset that they're not releasing Titanfall 3 anytime soon. I have no idea what it is with trilogies and just not being able to release 3 games. It's almost poetic at the fact that Battlefront 3 is not happening for the second time. And then of course we've got Titanfall 3 that we're not going to open up that wound again. And of course Bad Company 3 that is just not happening anytime soon. Shifting focus to the Activision news, according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, Activision is committed to releasing at least the next 3 Call of Duty games on PlayStation, and that is even after the Microsoft acquisition has concluded with Activision Blizzard. Jason then went on to say that with other recent acquisitions such as Bethesda and Obsidian, Microsoft fulfilled existing contracts and then released or announced subsequent games for PC and Xbox, and left Sony on red while they were trying to figure out what just happened. I don't think it's really possible to grasp how much money Microsoft actually has at its disposal, especially with them being valued at over $1 trillion. I couldn't even begin to tell you what that much money looks like. Jason then went on to clarify that this news of Activision's contract with Sony is not related to the timing of when the acquisition closes. This contract was signed before last week's news. Diving a little bit deeper into the Bloomberg article, according to Phil Spencer, he said, and I quote, "I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of the industry and we value our relationship." This was obviously a vague statement from Phil Spencer, and my guess about how the entire situation is going to unfold is Microsoft is likely going to retain the exclusivity to the Call of Duty campaign, or if they apply the similar strategy that they're doing with Bethesda, they'll make it so any platforms that have Game Pass can get the Call of Duty campaign, and if you do not have Game Pass on your platform, then unfortunately you will not be able to access the Call of Duty campaign. I think they'll keep multiplayer as a paid component that is indeed multi-platform, as well as Warzone, the free-to-play component that will also stay multi-platform. Microsoft and Phil Spencer are trying to get positive press with this acquisition, and anything negative they're going to try to avoid. So fulfilling contracts in good faith and making sure Call of Duty can stay on PlayStation will be a net positive for Microsoft. And at the end of the day, they're spending $70 billion on the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, so they're going to want to make that money back as soon as possible. What I don't think people really understand is Microsoft isn't really in competition with Sony and Nintendo. With Microsoft buying up other companies, they're one, ensuring that their Game Pass can stay as cheap as possible, and two, avoid the situation of other big tech giants like your Apple and your Google from entering the space and acquiring up all of these other publishers and game studios, especially from releasing their own competitor to Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft's entire goal is to double down and triple down on Xbox Game Pass. They want to be the Netflix of gaming, and the only way that that happens is if they ensure they've got the IP that they could put on the Game Pass platform without having to worry about other licensing fees that could potentially raise the cost of the actual subscription. In more Activision Blizzard news, according to Jason Schreier, Activision last night said it would not recognize the QA union at Raven Software, setting the stage for an ugly labor battle. Activision will argue that all 300 plus Raven employees should vote, not the group of 34 QA testers who are seeking a union. I think it's safe to assume that we're going to continue to see these issues happening with Activision Blizzard, at least until the acquisition is complete and Bobby Kotick is removed. And hopefully under the leadership of Phil Spencer, these employees can have a much better work environment than what they're currently dealing with at Activision Blizzard. Speaking of Blizzard, they're actually making a brand new game again rather than remaster and rehash old games, so they can make that easy nostalgia money. But according to their tweet, they said that we're building a survival game in an all new universe. And of course, you know what happened next. Twitter doing what Twitter does. One user said, so the player takes the role of a female Blizzard employee and tries to navigate a hostile world of sexual harassment and retaliation. Another user joked that the setting is at Blizzard HQ and you play as a woman. Truly a survival game. And you could probably assume the rest. But according to the press release, Blizzard is embarking on our next quest. We are going on a journey to a whole new universe, home to a brand new survival game for PC and console, to which immediately has me thinking that it's going to be the first Xbox exclusive, but I digress. They stated that a place full of heroes we have yet to meet, stories yet to be told, and adventures yet to be lived, a vast realm of possibility waiting to be explored. The statement then goes on to say that for 30 years, Blizzard has been creating universes for millions of players around the globe. This requires a diverse team of developers willing to lend their voices, to listen and be heard. The reality is I am actually pretty excited about this game. I think Blizzard can make good games, especially under the leadership of Mike Ibarra, who was previously on the team Xbox, who actually left Microsoft to go work at Blizzard, is now eventually joining Blizzard again. So it'll be exciting to see what this game is all about. I think that it could be solid. It really depends on how they handle it. Will it be more like Rust or will it be more like Valheim? My guess is they're going to lean more on the Valheim side of things, but only time will tell. Next up, the new From Software game Elden Ring has officially gone gold a few days ago, which is really good news. From Software has been absolutely crushing the game lately, and I for one am looking forward to seeing how well Elden Ring does at launch. Speaking of games that are going to absolutely crush it at launch, Pokemon Legends Arceus releases tomorrow, even though it's been leaked for the past week. There's been footage of people playing it on Nintendo Switch and emulators, and it's looking like Game Freak actually did a good thing. Some people are stating that this is the best Pokemon game they've ever played. There's been dozens of comparisons to Breath of the Wild, which I think is pretty justified considering the fact that I've also been playing the game early. It doesn't really have the details of the world and environment that Breath of the Wild has, but for it being a Pokemon game, I think they crushed it. I don't know if there's any going back to the original core experience that has been overplayed and overused for countless of years. I don't think there's any going back for Game Freak, especially after they crushed this game's launch. much, they're gonna have to continue to bring the heat with more Pokemon Legends games. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with today's video. If you enjoyed this format of gaming news, let me know. I'm kind of experimenting on the channel, especially now that I'm not really covering as much Battlefield 2042. Either way, thank you for watching this video. Do me a favor, leave a like, subscribe to the channel with your notifications on, and I will talk to you again soon.